Namaskar, I'm Karki, known as Karki. Today, I'm going to talk about English grade 10. In this regard, I'll be discussing on Unit 1. Here, we are talking about cross-cultural trends, how people in different cultures behave in respect to food, in respect to dress, in respect to business, and other things. Here we go. The title is Giving, Withholding, and Reporting Permission. How do you permit someone? That is giving permission. How do you stop permission for some time? That is withholding permission. And how do you report the permission given? How do you narrate the permission given? That is reporting permission. In order to do this, first of all, here are some questions. You have to read the questions first and go to the text. There are some techniques of reading, in order to get some ideas about the text. First of all, read the questions very carefully. Then go through the text. Read the passage. That makes it easier for you to understand the passage better. And at other times, I would be helping you out to find out meanings of difficult words and some other background informations regarding the topics. So, okay. Describe your dining etiquette. What do you mean by etiquette? Remember this. We all have some behavioral patterns, ways of behaving, ways of doing something. That is etiquette. Ways of behaving or behavior. So, how are our behaviors different from that of Japanese? That's what you have to understand after reading the text. After reading the text, you will find out the answer and you have to make some notes and convert the notes into your answers. So, read the following text quickly and answer these questions. How do the Canadians greet each other? We greet with Namaste. Some other cultural background people greet the other ways. So, our ways of greeting also differ. And we greet according to time. Namaskar, pranam, good afternoon, good evening. So, nowadays, in different cultures, people have different ways of greeting. That also we are going to do. And after reading the text, you will find out how people in different cultures greet each other. How long does it take for Latin Americans to complete their lunch? So even taking lunch takes certain time. In our society, sometimes we sit quiet and eat. When there are friends and festivals and all, we take long time to eat. We talk and all. So according to time, according to culture, according to religion, people's behavior of eating also differs. That you have to find out after reading the text. Where do people take off their shoes when entering a restaurant? So in different countries, they have got different ways to enter the restaurant. Somewhere you take off your shoes, somewhere you go along with your shoes, or putting on your shoes, so to say. So that also you will understand after reading this paragraph. So, a world guide to good manners. Good manners means etiquette. How not to behave badly abroad. When you go out of your country, how to behave, how not to behave. Remember, this abroad means foreign countries. Foreign country. That is TRY. Abroad. So traveling to all corners of the world is getting easier and easier. Nowadays we can travel easily to different parts of the world. We can go to different parts of the world. We live in a global village. What is a global village? Globe means world. Global means of the world. So the entire world has become a small village. That is what you call global village. World village. But this does not mean that we all behave in the same way. We live in a global village, but it does not mean that we all behave in the same way. Even within the same country as well, people behave in a different way, or people behave in various different ways. Even within the same place, small place, different people have got different ways of behaving according to their culture. So of course, according to the nations, the ways we behave are different. Different people of different countries behave their own way of life. They have got their own way of life to behave. So we'll read, we'll see the pictures, we'll guess what we are going to do, we'll discuss something, then we'll read the passage and find out some of the major aspects of the text. Is that okay? Here it is. Okay, greetings. You can look at these pictures. Look at these pictures. What does this picture show? First one, shaking hands. Where do people greet like this? Nowadays, everywhere people shake hands. But is shaking hand our tradition? Of course not. Our tradition is doing namaste. This shaking hand is American or European context. Now, look at this old grandfather. How is he doing? How is he greeting? He is doing namaste. And namaste has been a popular form of greeting all over the world nowadays. However, this is the tradition of Nepal, India, and some other countries. Now let us see. Coming close to chicks. One chick, another chick. Coming closer. Coming near. In which country do they greet like that? Can you guess? Yes, it's in Russia. And some other parts, other countries, of the former USSR. Formerly, Russia used to be known as USSR. And from there came out to be many other countries, Chechnya and all. In those countries also people, this touch their cheeks in order to greet each other. Now let us see this one, shaking hand. Of course, the culture of India is not shaking hand, neither is it the culture of Nepal. But when we go abroad, we have to follow their culture. If you go to America, and someone comes to shake hand, you can't do namaste. If you go to Russia, someone comes to, touch the cheeks, you can't say namaste. You have to follow their culture. So when you go abroad, you have to follow their culture. Do in Rome as Romans do. This word is the thing. Now, let us see. Like this, bowing down. So in which country do you bow down? Of course, you can see it in Thailand. You can see it in China. You can see it in Japan. So the origin is in Japan. The way of greeting by bowing down is a tradition of Japan. The more you have to respect, the more you bow down. That's the thing. Now let us see. How should you behave when you meet someone for the first time? When you meet someone for the first time, what way do you behave? Look here. An American or Canadian shakes your hands firmly. How? Firmly. What do you mean by firmly? Strongly. Firmly means strongly, strongly, strongly. An American or Canadian shakes your hand firmly while looking you straight in the eyes. Look at the eyes and shake hand. You can't look this way and shake hand. You can't look this way and shake hand. That's the thing. While looking you straight in the eyes, in many parts of Asia, there is no physical contact at all. Remember this. In many parts of Asia, there is no physical contact at all. Means, while greeting, people do not come close. People do not touch each other. That is what you call physical contact. We remain a little bit far in Asia and we do namaste, namaskar, pranam, all these things. In Japan, you should bow. And the more you respect the person, the deeper you should bow. In Thailand, the greeting is made by pressing both hands together in the chest. Like this. Press your hand in the chest and do. Pressing both hands together at the chest, as if you are praying. As if you are praying. A little bit bowing and pressing your hand in the chest. That's their way of greeting. As if you are praying and bowing your head slightly. In Thailand, people don't bow more. They bow a little bit. Slightly means a little bit. Slightly. A bit. In both countries, eye contact is avoided as a sign of respect. Both in Japan and in Thailand, eye contact is not made. You do not look straight at the eyes. If you look straight at the eyes, people think you are not respecting that person. But that is also according to community, group, or who you are talking to. But for the first time, if you look straight at the eye, that is disrespect. So this is all about greeting. Now let us see next. Look at these dresses. Different cultures have different dresses, different clothes. Within the same country also we have different ethnic groups. If you talk about Nepal, we have got mountain regions, we have got hill regions, we have got the Tarai region. So what happens? Accordingly, the dresses are different. And according to the weather also, the dresses are different. Nowadays, the dress of one country, can be found in another country also. However, we have got original dress. We have got our cultural dress. The dress of Newars is different from the dress of Sherpas. The dress of Sherpas is different from the dress of other ethnic groups, Tamangs or Rais or something like that. However, we have got national identity. Our uniforms or our dresses are our national identities. Let us see some of the dresses. Which country do you think this first one is? Can you guess? Think. This dress, which country does it belong to? Of course, this dress belongs to Bhutan. It belongs to Bhutan. And this one, as you can see, So regarding the dresses also, males have different dresses and females have different dresses. Alright? And this one belongs to Japan. Japan. Japan, Japanese dress. And you know this very well. I don't need to say. Which country does this dress belong to? Taka topi, coat, and daura surwal. Yes, this dress belongs to our country, Nepal. This is our traditional dress. Nepal. And this one, as you can see, a big piece of cloth, something like a muffler. It's not a muffler actually. That is known as turban, Turban, so this belongs to Arabian dress. And let us see this one, formal coat, pants, tie. Nowadays we also wear it, but is it our culture? Of course not. This is American and European culture. American or European. This is American or European culture. But nowadays we have got cultural amalgamation, cultural mix-up. So the dress of one country can be found in another country. The food of one country can be found in another country. However, we have to know the traditional dresses, because these dresses, these food items, all these things are our identities. Right? Now let us see the text. Now, many countries have rules about what you should and should not wear. In Asian and Muslim countries, you should not reveal the body. You should not show the body, especially females, especially women. We should wear long sleeve tops. Long sleeved. Sleeve means this, the cloth that covers your arms. They are known as sleeves, and having sleeves, sleeved. Long sleeve tops. Sleeved means having, Sleeves. In Japan, you should take off your shoes when entering a house or a restaurant. As we saw the question, in which country should we take off our shoes before we enter a house or a restaurant? Of course, in Japan. In Japan, you should take off your shoes when entering a house or a restaurant. Remember to place them together facing the door you came in. Shoes, door. Facing the door you came in. You have to put them together. This is also true in China, Korea, and Thailand and Iran. This is also true in which countries? China, Korea, Thailand, and Iran. Putting the shoes facing the door. Putting the shoes facing the door. Pointing towards the door. So there are also manners of keeping your things in a proper way in different cultures. Is that okay? Now let us see the next one. Yummy, delicious food items, right? You must have eaten many of them. Okay? So what are these food items? Let's just talk about them. Let's just talk about the origin they came from. The first one, you can see the food. Which country does it belong to? I don't need to describe the food, I suppose, because you know this. Which country is it from? Of course, it's from Nepal. Nepali food. Alright? Dal, bhat, lentil, rice, vegetables, curd, meat, and all. And gundruk. We don't have an English term for gundruk. So you say gundruk. Gundruk is gundruk. Roti is roti, not chapati. Roti is not bread. Bread is pav roti. So you can see this one. This food. Of course, that is American or European. US or Europe. Look. Chow mein. We say chow mein, but its pronunciation is chow mein. What is the origin of this chow mein. This is from China. So it is Chinese food. And this food belongs to our neighboring country. Which one? Can you guess? Yes, this is Indian dish. India. Nowadays you can find Indian food even in Nepal, Nepali food even in India. And all these food items can be found in different corners of the world. Why? Because we are living in a global village. The entire world itself has become a small village. So we can find different races, we can find different food items, we can find different languages. That's what is to be remembered. Let us go to the text now. In Italy, Spain, and Latin America, lunch is often the biggest meal of the day. Lunch is the biggest meal, heaviest meal of the day. So, if it is the biggest meal of the day, what do? You naturally take longer time to eat. And can last for 2 or 3 hours. Can last means take time. Your last does not mean the opposite of first. Take time. 2 or 3 hours. For this reason, many people eat a light breakfast and a late dinner. They eat dinner later and they take light means a little bit. Light is the opposite of heavy here. Light means not heavy. Not heavy. You must know the vocabulary. In Britain, you might have a business lunch and do business as you eat. Look at the difference. In Britain, you might have a business lunch and do business as you eat. But in Nepal, first eating, then talking. We don't take a long time, this eating and talking and eating and talking. But nowadays, people are following Western cultures. So, they can have, this business dinner or business lunch. In Mexico and Japan, many people prefer not to discuss business while eating. While eating, they do not discuss. Where? In Mexico and in Japan. They don't discuss about business when they are eating. Lunch is a time to relax and socialize, to mix up with the society. What is socialize? Mix up with society. Mix up with people. So socialize means to mix up with people, talking with people, going to parties. All these are the ways of socialization. So socialize, mix up with people. And the Japanese rarely drink alcohol at lunch times. At lunch times, they don't take alcohol. Rarely means hardly. Very, very few occasions. Not zero, but almost zero. Rarely means hardly. So, in Britain and United States, it is not unusual to have a business meeting over breakfast, and in China, it is common to have business banquets, but you should not discuss business during the meal. This is how there are cultural differences. In Britain, they can talk while eating, but in China, generally they don't talk while eating. They don't hold meetings while eating. So these are the cultural differences. But nowadays, because of mixed culture, because of cultural hybridity, our behaviors are also changing. But they are patterns of behavior, original patterns of behavior while eating. Why should you know this? Because you may have to go to Japan. There you have to follow their way of eating. You have to follow their way of dressing. You have to follow their way of eye contact, body gesture, and other communication modalities. That's why understanding the cultural differences is very important. Let us see the next slide. Now, doing business. Look, there are different ways of doing business. All these are, business presentations or business meetings. Sometimes there can be a small group of people. Sometimes there can be a big group of people. Sometimes you have to show through the projector, what the things are. What way do we do business meetings? Let us see. Let us see this one. As you can see, 2 females this side, 2 males this side, and the main person this side. There's a specific chair for the one who conducts the meeting, or the chairperson of the meeting, or chairperson of the business. And they are talking. And as they talk in business as well, the movement of their hand, the eye contacts and all, they are very important. Let us see this one. Here, what are they doing? Someone is sewing, and others are writing or looking at him. So this is paying attention to the presenter. When the presenter presents something in a business, you shouldn't be looking at other directions. You shouldn't be talking on the phone. You have to pay attention. Now, the way they give cards. In different countries, people have got different ways of giving cards. In some countries, when you give the business cards, you give with both hands. Sometimes you give with one hand in some countries. Look, giving with both hands, giving with one hand, and look, this round table business. Even the setting up business matters a lot. Sometimes you have got such a table and talk. Sometimes you have a round table and watch. So there are also etiquettes of business, and these etiquettes should be understood. What shall we do while conducting a business meeting, and what we should not do while conducting a business meeting? Let us see the text. So, in most countries, an exchange of business cards is essential for all introductions. So, in order to introduce, what do? You exchange what? Business cards. This is my card. Means you don't have to tell more. Look at the cards and find the detail of the person. You should include your company name and your position. What should be included? Your company name and your position. Are you a manager? Are you an accountant? Are you just a clerk? Your position also should be there. A business, this in your business card. If you are going to a country where your language is, remember this, if you are going to a country where your language is not widely spoken, you can get the reverse side of your card printed in the local language. Suppose I am going to go to Japan and I have to give my business card. And if it is in English, Japanese may not understand. So on the one side, it's in English. On the other side, the reverse side, it's in the local language, means Japanese language. Or it could be in my national language, that is Nepali, on the one side, but on the other side, what happens? That should be in the local language. In what condition should you do that? If you are going to a country where your language is not spoken. Now let us see the word reverse. Reverse means opposite. Opposite side. In Japan, you must present your card with both hands, with the writing facing the person you are giving to, like this, give. And the writing should be faced by the person there. Here is a card, you give this way. But the writing should not be opposite. If I give the card with both hands, and you should see the writing here. This is what is done in Japan. In many countries, business hours are from 9 to 10 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. So the time is 9 to 5 or 6, 9 or 10 or 5 or 6. However, in some countries such as Greece, Italy and Spain, some businesses close in the early afternoon. Why? For a couple of hours, then remain open until the evening. That could be the lunch time. They stop their office, they stop their business procedure for a couple of hours. Where? When? Early afternoon. Why? That could be their lunch time, because they may like to take lunch and relax. Alright? Japanese business people consider it their professional duty to go out after work with colleagues to restaurants, bars or nightclubs. If you are invited, you should not refuse, or even if you do not feel like staying out late. So, Japanese people, what do they do? They work throughout the day, and after the office hour or after the business hour is over, they have got their nightlife. They may go to a restaurant, they may go to clubs or bars to enjoy. And if they invite you, you cannot say no. Now let us see. Colleagues mean co-worker. Co-worker. People working together. They are known as colleagues. Refuse means say no. You cannot say no to them if they invite you. So that's the trend in Japan. Alright, now here are some of the words whose meaning you have to find out and do, or you have to make sentences. Some of them I have already done. Anyway, I'm going to do it for you. So, firmly, it means strongly. Reverse I have already written, that is opposite side. Opposite side. Alright? Prefer, it means like. Bow, it means bend down. Bend down. Slightly, little. Slightly mean little. Professional, related to job. Related to the job. Let us see. Firmly. He catches my hand firmly, strongly. Bow. Bowing. Slightly, a little. I'm slightly unwell today. Means I'm a little unwell today. Reverse. This side, this side, this side, this side. Reverse side, back side, opposite side. Professional, related to the job. I have my professional work, means it's not the work of my house, it's the work of my job. So when you say professional, it is related to your job. Did you get it? Now let us talk about some other words as well. Okay, socialize. You go to parties, you go to meetings. Are you alone there? No. There are people from society. You have to mix up with the people in the society. That is socialize. I talked about this as well. Mix up with people. Mix up with people. That is socialize. Avoided, kept far. You have to avoid bad friends. Mean you should not go near them. You have to leave them. You have to keep far. Avoid is present, avoided is past. Avoided. Kept far. Refuse, just now I said, say no. Say no. When you say no, that is refuge. Banquet. Your banquet is not a party palace. Banquet is a celebration. along with food. All right, which we call feast. Feast means celebration along with food. All right. Now, sleeved, having sleeves. Having sleeves. Sleeves are clothes covering your arms. Having sleeves. So, you have to wear long sleeved clothes in winter. Now let us see essential. Now let us see two more words. Essential. Water is essential for our life. Without water we cannot live. Right? So very important. Essential means very necessary. You cannot say very essential because essential itself has got the word very. Smack. While eating, you move your mouth and make sound. That is not a good habit in some countries. You know, making sound while eating, that is smack. Making sound while eating. While eating. This is it. Did you get it? So, having read these passages or these texts or paragraphs, you can do the question answers easily. For more grammatical item, I will be presenting you in the next class. So, next class is coming soon. Keep on watching Education Television with great 10 English lectures from Karki, Karki. Have a good day. Have a good time. Thank you.